Good morning, it's day 4 in Nata. Had a good night's rest. Could have used a bit more sleep, but yeah, so it goes. We're just doing the air intakes after all the sand and grass and stuff that we drove through yesterday. So we're just cleaning them out. I'll show. Or actually replacing the old filter. We'll clean them later on and use that as a spare again. But yeah, they're welding up nicely. The cowl that we printed just to lift the air intake a bit from the bottom to the top actually did a good job. Reduced the amount of sand and dust that we suck in by about 50%, I would say, and it's a turbo. So yeah, day 4, gonna finish this, maybe get a coffee, and then we drive up to Zambia. We have about 50-60 kilometers now, and then we're gonna stop and refuel just before we enter like a national park here in Botswana. It's a main road, but you can't stop along it, so it's going to be a long stretch of about 150 kilometers before we can stop again. So we're going to fill up, drive through there, and then yeah, take it as it comes. Keep you updated. So we just filled up with fuel before we enter the Ngwasha veterinary gate into the park, the national park, with all the big 5 animals: elephants, buffalo, lions. So we have about 150 kilometers to go before we can stop, and we don't really want to stop next to the road inside the park. So we should make it. Just wish us luck. Taking a smoke break in the park, and there are 2 lions. So we arrived in Livingston at the waterfront lodge in Zambia. This is our little tent for tonight. Or mine, Jan has his own. It's a bit all over the place, but I'll sort that out. Just a short check-in. Today we drove from Nata in Botswana all the way to Livingston in Zambia, and it was quite an early morning, not too early. Packed our stuff, changed our air filters like you just saw, and then we left. I think we did about 50 kilometers, and then we entered a park, a national park in Botswana, where they have all the wildlife roaming about. So yeah, that was gonna be an interesting one for us to drive through, but luckily we didn't see much. A couple of elephants, but they were quite far off the road, so there's no issues there. We didn't want to get an elephant in the road. That would be a bigger issue. But yeah, that went well. Drove through the whole park. We actually stopped at a tuk-tuk just outside of the park again. A coffee, like a barista. His whole setup was in a tuk-tuk. And we got our cappuccino, I think the first cappuccino in 3 days, properly like made one. That was quite nice. And then it was basically the last stretch to Kazankula, the border between Botswana and Zambia. That was also actually okay. It wasn't too busy. It just took a long time to get all the paperwork done and getting your permits and insurances for the road. That took us about, I would say, an hour and a half, 2 hours, but we got through, and then we made it to the lodge, I would say just in the nick of time before it got dark, because there's a few stuff that we need to fix on the scooters, like Jan's headlights aren't working. He only has his spotlight, so that's kind of a difficult thing to do or drive with at night. So we might just take a rest day tomorrow, or a repair day, and then just fix a few things, take it easy, go to the Victoria Falls, have a look. Yeah, but we'll keep you posted. That was our day 4 completed. Cheers.